Hey everybody, it is Toronto Unicorn, and I am here with two audio guests today. I'm with Amelia. Say hello.
Hi.
And I am with R. Say hello.
Hello.
So we are all able to come together so that we could tell the story of what I don't know. We haven't coined this DTF night versus the others, but for me, this was a fantastic DTF night. All I know is this one's for the books, and we decided that we all needed to give our perspective because there's so many eyes that were on what happened, and so we're all here to share. So, are you ladies ready?
We're ready. I'm gonna call it Toronto Unicorn's loudest night ever. Loudest DTF ever.
Yeah, that's not the loudest DTF ever. Why don't we call it?
It's not.
It's not? Is that what you said?
It's different. It was. Yeah, no, it was. It was. Who am I kidding?
She had to hold a towel in her mouth so she could, be a little more quiet. And she was still loud.
I'm not gonna lie though, my favorite part of that night, which I'll cover again later, was when my partner at the time, one of the front guy, Mr. F. Is it? I don't know.
Yeah, let's do Mr. F.
Mr. F. Okay. So Mr. F was one of my partners, and so this is the part where I started to plug my mouth because I know how loud I can get, and he's like, "Let it out," and I was like, I remember looking around, realizing I'm in a sex club. I can actually not muffle. And that was like when I had never really ever like let the fucking pipes open like that before.
She was singing, "Let it go, let it go."
Right?
She let it go.
I did. And all my friends were there to hear it and sing along, apparently. Right?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We'll tell you more about that after. Okay, let's go in order.
So, all right. So let's keep going so that our OCD can stay in check. All right. So this was a DTF night where we knew in advance most of the guest list. And we were excited because Mr. and Miss Jyla Valentine were coming, and they are so busy with school and work that they haven't been able to come to the club a lot. And so when they do make an appearance, it's a big deal. I always try to go so I can catch up with them. So do a lot of people. They always ask about when they're going. They've definitely got some fans, right? And some, genuine fans of them as people. So anyways, so they were going to be there. R and Amelia were there with Amber. There's so many names. I don't want to miss any. And I don't out people on my channel without their permission. So we have a couple other friends. I'm just going to call the L's, L1, L2 or something, because we have, I don't want to out their names, but we were there with a lot of friends, right? And good energy, good vibes. Everybody felt good with everybody. And we also brought food to this sex club because we've been to many DTF nights, and halfway through the night, sometimes you need more than a sip of water, right? Sometimes even, a cupcake or whatever. Now, not only that, but we even had a charcuterie board. And I think, Amelia, did you bring that?
Actually, Amber made it. Amber was staying at my place, so we worked on it together.
It was
beautiful.
Fantastic. It was fantastic.
It was great.
It's just nice finger foods, right? We don't need plates, right?
Yeah, it
tastes good.
It felt like it was like leveled up snacks. It felt like
we had spinach dip. Spinach dip.
That was good too with the rye bread.
Yeah,
pumpernickel.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Pumpernickel, and then we had Twizzlers and those cream puffs with the chocolate coating, which I have to say I binged some more on when I last night. Yeah, they make.
And I brought those shortbread sugar cookies.
Oh yeah.
In the bakery.
So we basically lined up all the food on the bar halfway through the night, and we had this literally intermission moment where we could all snack, and people grabbed some Twizzlers and were whipping asses with them as if they were
it was the food orgy. It was the food orgy, and I was getting my butt whipped with the licorice, and it hurt. I'll tell you, it's a BDSM toy, piece of licorice. There's something to be said for that.
Pretty erotic because then you could put it in your mouth, right? And include it. So
somebody suggested that we braid the strands and then use it as a whip. I'm like, that could be interesting. We'll have to try that. Food orgy. That's what I think it was.
That's funny.
Can you imagine? Food's already porn. You know. This could be like food and sex porn.
And
There
that's
you
just, some
go.
people are really into this dynamic. Some people like to use whipped cream, some people like to use cherries, chocolate sauce, whatever. Literally, you can have like salami between your boobs and have someone like, this is leveling up our level of food integration. Okay.
Please smear me with caviar.
Right? This is the appetizer course. This is the entree course. But yeah, so that was really a highlight of the night. But so anyway, so we go pick up the food, we show up to the club, R and I. We at my place first filmed that pre-DTF chat so that we were able to lock in, you know, the vibe of the excitement of the night. Now, I was a little nervous. Now, I don't normally get that nervous, but I thought I knew in advance that I was probably going to be sleeping with Mr. F. We had texted, we had chatted. I had watched him fuck Amber, and it was fantastic. It was skillful, talented, robust. I don't normally use these words about a man fucking, but it was just a matter of like a well-oiled machine type of situation. And I remember taking note. Now, as a demisexual, I need more than just someone's good at sex for me to be interested. So I remember taking note, but then like along the lines, then we got to know him as a person, felt a little bit more comfortable. He asked if we ever wanted to play, and he's in an open marriage like that. So like his wife is also there last night, or was with us too. And so it was exciting because I went in knowing that I had 2 male sexual partners potential. And that does not happen to me a lot. I barely ever get one. You guys know.
There's the headline. There's the headline. Okay. Unicorn gets rare MMF or MFM, whatever it is. And yeah, it's like, it's rarer than like, you know, the mating of the wildebeest.
You bring that up.
I have to say it was hot to watch. I had front row seat.
Yeah.
Me too. Me too. I was like,
my blowjob.
mouth open, man, watching this. I turn around, I'm like, ooh, hello.
Yes. Well, that's the best part for me is like all this fantastic shit happened to me, and my friends were all there to like not only watch but cheer me on, which was really cool. We make our way there, you know, we get in various stages of undress, whatever, and it's exciting. I go outside, I smoke a joint. Everyone's kind of dispersed at this point, you know, making their own connections and whatnot. So I actually made a friend with somebody out on the patio deck, so that was fun. And anyway, so we go in and it's time. And so I find Mr. and Miss Jila Valentine, and we're like, okay, where do you want to do this? I talked to them in advance about I wanted to mentally dominate her. So I was saying, do you want to be like degraded tonight, or do you want to be praised? Because sometimes you're in a mood. And she said, I want to be good girl tonight instead of like, you know, negative, degrading stuff. And I was like, fine, totally, like noted. And then I talked to her partner, Mr. Jila Valentine, about like what he was looking for and stuff. And like, they're very big on playing together. So they wanted to say that even if she was having a gangbang, he wants to be very much involved. And so he was never going to be more than like 2 feet away from her at all times. But for me, that worked perfectly, because I was like, all right, well then I'm gonna fuck your boyfriend then. I said it in a way that was like fun, right? But I was like, well then I get to fuck your boyfriend, hopefully. And so she was sucking. Anyway, so she took all sorts of men. Now she had more of a bukkake night, so she was like on her knees, willing to take all sorts of dick, like any nice gentleman who approached. She was just more than inviting, which is what I love about her. And she's so genuinely enthusiastic about loving being a slut and like loving the dick and everything. So I was having fun. I had her hair in my hands and I was shoving her head on dick, and I was telling her to do a better job and do a good job so that she could be a good girl. And things like that. So I started to incorporate the things that she had asked. At this point, she kept asking for more and more men. So she started with 1, then 2, and it's almost like she just got bored. Like she's like, can I have more? And I was like, sure. And then she just started like recruiting all. So then I was kind of free to start my stuff. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go suck your boyfriend's, you know, dick now. And she's like, okay. So I'm right behind them, but he's fantastic. Like he's like touching my body and making me feel beautiful, just like every man should for a woman, in my opinion. Can I get a consensus there, ladies?
I agree. To feel like a goddess,
touch our body,
of course,
make us feel beautiful. Yeah, they can. There's power in words and compliments, right? So genuine compliments. So he was like, oh, when do I get to worship your body? And I was like, oh, right now, right? Like that's a fantastic invite. So he was fantastic. He like ate me out and stuff while I was kind of doming his girlfriend. He was like, you know, eating me out and stuff. And I have to just keep this a little light because this is YouTube, but we will be doing a part 2 for my OnlyFans page, which is where we can actually swear and say all the dirty details. So this is where I'm going to tread a little lightly, but you know where to find me. My links are always on TorontoUnicorn.com and usually in the description of every video. So as this is happening, the Mr. F was there in the scene around us. So Michelle Valentine's taking all sorts of men right here. I'm getting like eaten out in bliss from her boyfriend while I'm like mentally doming her. And then right there is Mr. F. And I was like, oh, would you like to come and like put your, you know, D in my mouth? Because I did mention to him in advance that this is the fantasy I don't get a lot. You guys know that. I don't even get fucked a lot, let alone 2 men. Right?
I loved watching
Right.
you. You
Right.
are amazing. You
How
just
many times-
let loose.
Keep talking. How many times have you seen me fuck? Seriously.
Never. I have never seen you fuck.
So did you wonder all this time if I was like a you know?
No, but I've been on your OnlyFans, so I know that you do, but I've never like actually seen you. We've gone to the club lots of times. I've known you since August, and I was like, you know, I know that she like really promotes this, but I was like, I was in shock. I was in awe. I was like, this is amazing.
Did I not lean over to you at one point and say something like, "This is a rare treat to behold," or something like that? I said
You
that to
did,
somebody.
because
like,
I was looking at you. I was looking at you, like I looked over, like because I was in shock. My mouth was open.
That's right. The hanging open mouth. I know. So, and I made a comment. It's a rare treat you're watching, you know, or something to that effect. And so yeah, I started watching you from our perspective. I think she finally closed her mouth or caught the flies or something, but it was quite interesting to watch.
It was very beautiful to watch.
So before I get into the intensity of what happened when I got spit roasted, what was this like? The energy of the room, there's a crowd of people. I remember I met some fans earlier in the night and I said to them, well, you're about to see a fantastic show. Like I had been like, oh, it's nice to meet you. You know, they're like, oh, we came in from, I think it was Michigan or DC. There was a couple of fans. And so I was like, oh, that's great. I'm like, you're about to get a very good show. And they were standing right there. There was a whole bunch of people. All of our friends were on the mats with us. So everybody could watch the sex. Okay. This was like a spectacle, I guess, of itself. I wasn't aware so much because I was in the middle of it. So what was the environment like?
So I was sitting with Amber, and then Mr. F's partner was sitting beside me. And then it was R, and then R had some friends on her side. I think there's like 3 or 4 people. So the bed area was full, and the sex action was Jyla doing bukkake, and our lovely, beautiful friend here doing getting it both ways. You know?
Yeah.
Two-hole girl.
Well, 2-hole girl, yeah. 2 and a knuckle. Just
2 and a knuckle.
So this was when he came over and then he put his D in my mouth while I was getting sex from behind now, because then he had moved to having sex with me. Now, it looked so fucking easy in the movies, and I started moving and they kept moving, and it was like clunking teeth. It felt like not really, but that feeling of like something needs to figure itself out here. And I stopped and asked the crowd, am I supposed to move or do they move? And they answered me.
We're all
And
laughing.
what did they yell back? What did they yell back at you?
They said that they move. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I was trying to do this in between 2 men, and I kept the guy, but was like falling out from behind. And so I was like, am I supposed to stay still? Like, I was confusing. So it's not as easy as it looks sometimes.
It's like dancing. You have to let them lead.
Okay.
You know? They'll establish the rhythm in that sense. I mean, you can end up taking over eventually, but like, it's easier just to let it get started in a natural kind of boing, 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 boing kind of method.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a fan of staying stationary, like letting the work happen around me. That's a turn on for me. But I also think there's maybe a video that needs to be made about how to do this, so that people, when they do get their fantasy in front of them, they don't fumble the ball. Like they're like,
They could always ask the crowd, right?
well, that's if you're at a sex club. What if you're just like in a hotel with like you're a couple and you're meeting some guy off the internet and you just don't even know how to do this. Like, you know, so I'm just saying there's, as an experienced like swinger or whatever, I had questions, okay? Like I was like, so if I have questions, I'm sure others have questions.
I also like that you're comfortable enough, like, because it was a joke. It was funny, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's
Yeah.
in the room. You were just like, you know what? Let me ask, because let me make, like, you want this to be enjoyable for yourself too, for everybody, right?
It's like
That was-
Crowdopedia. It's
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, let's ask the crowd. Let's get them to wait.
yeah, yeah. It's like a game show, right? Or something.
The
like
majority
that.
has spoken.
Right? Can I get
No,
a show of hands? Can I have the A's and A's?
You enjoy it. Let
Yeah.
the men do the work, kind of in this position.
I'm not gonna lie, you can get me on board with a sentence like that, Amelia. Let's not forget, I told the universe, I was like, I'm looking for somebody who adores me, who wants to do acts of service for me. I'm not gonna lie, some people just really like that dynamic. So anyways, what I really liked about this specific experience was, first of all, Mr. F had a fantastic D. I had a fantastic time on that dick. Amelia gave me no less than 5 compliments on my blowjob, and I want Amelia to tell me why.
Because you know what? I don't know if anybody knows this, but I know you're telling me that you're not a big fan. So sometimes.
Oh, wait. No, I am a huge fan of blowjobs. I had self-consciousness about being compared with other people who do it very much deeper, better, slappier, no gag, like all of that. It makes me a bit self-conscious about it.
Sorry, you're right. Thank you for correcting me. Is
okay,
that
you're a C+ student at best on my content?
No, I think it was like more like the deep throat, and like you said, it was more comparing technique.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Miss Jila Valentine was behind me. Okay. Come on.
I know you. Yeah, you're right. Right. You gotta top that in a way, kind of, right? Because she's,
right?
you know, like it's a beautiful show. So that's it. Because like I just in my head I was like, you know what? Like you're deep throating.
Yeah.
He's holding your hair. And you too. You're touching like his balls. I don't know what I could say here. You know
I know,
what I mean?
right? I know.
And then just like you're taking it, and you're happy.
Yeah.
I could tell you are enjoying it. You weren't like this is a tour.
Yeah.
It was in your throat.
Yes.
You know?
And I would grab his butt from behind and shove it in more. Yes.
And like that's why I was like, this girl, like I thought no, but it looked beautiful.
Did you have some kind of expectation because you hadn't seen me have sex a lot, and you hear me say, oh, I'm self-conscious, that maybe, did you have some idea that I might be a little wobbly on the dick kind of thing?
Yeah, to be honest with you, because
Gotcha.
I've never seen you really play, right? I haven't seen you play at the club at all.
I know that, you know, because it's August.
I know, right? That's a long time. You've seen me play, you know, how many times?
I've seen you blossom into a swinger in front of my eyes while I'm waiting for my next
right date. So that's all. So I was like, I don't know if like, because she hasn't really done it in front of me.
Yeah.
Like I said, maybe it's in my head saying like, okay, maybe she doesn't like it. Maybe it's not her thing. Maybe, you know, and I remember you saying like, you have to be attracted to them, you know, to really enjoy it. And I could tell you were, because Mr. F, we've seen fuck a couple of times. Mr. F has great energy. He's funny. He's inclusive.
He's a gentleman. Yeah.
So just to see all of it, and that's what I'm saying. That's my mouth was open most of the time, not because I wanted to take dick, because I was in shock. I was like,
this chick sucks dick.
This girl sucks dick. This girl screams. This girl, you know,
I fuck dirty and loud. When I
that's all. I was just because it hadn't happened in front of me, right?
Yeah, I'm glad though, because I mean, getting that reassurance feels good. I told you I was self-conscious about it. Just to get somebody who sees me being like, wow, that was a really hot blowjob makes me feel better. As I know it feels hot to me, but I just know Miss Jala's behind me taking at least another inch, you know, like of whoever she's with. This was my favorite part. There's 2 favorite parts coming, but there's one of them is before the cum shot. So this was when Mr. F is communicating or watching their crowd above me while I'm sucking his D, and Mr. Jila Valentine's behind me. So he's aware of like what's going on above me. And apparently Miss Jila Valentine was trying to get a lube packet open, and couldn't. And so he said the words, "Why don't you use your teeth?" And I am down there thinking, am I doing a good job? And then I hear him say something about teeth, and I was like, what? And I was like, you want me to use teeth? And like, he was like, it was the fucking most hilarious thing. Until us ladies, the whole crowd stopped and erupted in laughter.
Meanwhile, we're sitting on the other end of the room. So there was like half the room with you that was watching this whole scene and could hear the dialogue. And then there was us who was just sort of watching from afar and heard less. All of a sudden, the crowd erupts in this crazy laughter in the middle of this terribly hot scene. Like, we're like, what happened? What, did you hear the joke? No, I didn't hear the joke. But I don't know, something about, I'm not sure. And we couldn't figure it out, right? So we're all waiting, like, what's the punchline? Meanwhile, half the room is like hysterical. And the whole scene, it was like, wah, wah, you know, like it was to restart again. But it was so funny in the moment because you guys were genuinely having a moment. Like it was so funny. So once we found out what the joke was, well, of course we joined in, but it took a few, you know, to find that out. But it was beautiful to watch. It was a genuine moment.
Amelia, you go now.
So I was like, when he's like, use your teeth, I was like, is he into this? Because I looked at you, like my mouth was already open. Then I was like, did this guy just say use your teeth? Does he want you to bite his dick? Like, does he want you to scratch it? Like, scrape it? Like, and then I saw you in surprise. I saw you just like look up, teeth. And then everybody just started laughing.
I also got poked in the eye with his hip when I looked.
That's what we thought it was, because when you came up, you had been poked in the eye. We're like, oh, I think she got poked in the eye. Why are they laughing so hysterically? That's not that funny. But
yeah, no, I was like, you want me to use teeth? And I'm like, he pokes me in the eye.
Oh my God, everybody was laughing. Even the people that didn't hear the joke or didn't know what's happening, because we were just like hysterically laughing our butts off, our asses off, like we couldn't breathe. It was so funny.
It was contagious. Like it was and the more laughter happened, the more it happened again. Like it was a contagious moment.
It was one of the funniest moments of my life, I think, was that moment, because it was enjoyed by so many people too. Because you'll remember that energy of collective enjoyment of a moment, you know? So that was funny. And then here's my second favorite part. This is a part that I felt was really fantastic and made me love being a swinger. This is the moment that every moment I have ever had in this lifestyle, this validated the fact that I should be a swinger. Okay. So I was sucking his D and very much enjoying it. And he asked if he can finish in my mouth. And I was like, no, sorry, I don't take that. And then I was like, oh my God, Miss Jyla Valentine, please come take his cum shot. And she comes and opens her mouth, and I was just like, oh, fantastic. She loved it. He loved it. I got, get at a cum shot card, free card. It was,
That's funny, but you don't need a card. Just saying.
Yeah, let him come on my boobs or something like that. But why would you've got an open and eager mouth, right? And so she takes the cum shot, and we're all laying there. And I just remember even in that moment saying, and that's why I love this lifestyle so much. And Mr. F even said it later about how he remembered I said that. And I was like, yeah, this was why. That was a moment. When I had an orgasm, which I did have an orgasm.
Did you? I didn't hear it.
Yeah.
Is that when you were the loudest? Was that your orgasm?
And that's why we're calling this the loudest DTF night for TorontoUnicorn or whatever.
There you go. That sounds like a great title.
First of all, Mr. Jyla Valentine knows what he's doing. He's a very good sexual partner, very good rhythm, consistency, all that. So he knows how to pound a woman, right? I already have loud sex. Like I moan richly, meaning I'm an empath and a highly sensitive person. So I actually feel things deeply. I feel joy deeply. I feel anger deeply. I feel a lot of things deeply. And sex is very much one of those things. So I am loud in sex because I'm very much enjoying it on a level. I don't artificially create sound. I think I did in my 20s to give a man a few, fake orgasms, but that was like a few times. Other than that, it's always real. So I'm already loud in sex. Anyways, this sex in particular was fantastic because I not only had a guy who was, plowing me for the YouTube people, really hard. I was having this fantasy fulfilled. I was having two men who I was into have this experience with me in the middle. And like, it felt very exciting to me. I was more turned on in the sex than I've been turned on in a while. Like it just really was exciting. So anyways, when it's time to have an orgasm, I start to scream, for lack of a better word. Ara likes to call it something else. Can you do your imitation?
Like it goes up like this, okay? It's like a crescendo thing. So you're like, oh, when the third note is hit, that's the money spot, right? Like,
yeah, like stairs of sound, right?
I would say like fifth stage or something.
Yes,
we
right,
heard from
because
like
this time it
1 to
kept
3.
going.
Oh yeah.
She hit some notes. Now I have to say I have known you long enough that I have seen you in the past, so I kind of know the sound. I actually can identify you from a separate room that it's you. So just saying. But I heard notes that night that I haven't heard before, and they were very high notes. And so while I was sitting with my friends who are singers, all of a sudden, as you're literally in the middle of orgasming, singing your beautiful song, she's singing Phantom of the Opera with you.
Oh my God.
Okay, in a very high voice. And it was that long. Like everyone was kind of like, what the hell? Looking at you, like, oh my God. It was like everyone's mouths were open at that point.
And it's funny because as much as I like attention, I don't do that for attention. And I actually feel a little self-conscious about how loud I can get. But that was what I really liked is Mr. F was right in front of me. And as I'm screaming, he noticed that I was like pushed, like I was like kind of muffling myself or like putting a towel. And he's like, just let it out. And I was like, oh, like when somebody encourages you to just and I remember that moment looking around in my head thinking, this is a sex club. I don't have to worry about my neighbors here. And so I actually I don't know what lever was like holding anything left. I didn't know there was any holdback. Suddenly there was nothing holding me back. And I hit more decibels than I think I've ever hit before. And so,
oh yeah, it's the loudest I've heard you in the sense that it was super sing-songy in a way that has not had that many bars before.
I was just gonna say, it sounded like an orchestra, really, like
yeah,
beautifully.
The opera.
Yeah. It just went up like beautifully.
And it's funny because you think that there's no higher pitch and then it gets higher. That's what I noticed is that I even didn't think I'd get higher. And then I kept getting higher. I can't imitate it so much, but it was just I don't breathe when I'm screaming. So it's a consistent sound. You guys
amazing. It was long. You must have taken a deep breath because it was a long one.
Well, that's just it. There's something that happens. I like contract and I just don't need to breathe or something when I'm orgasming. It's weird.
Crazy.
You were definitely singing.
Yeah.
You were definitely singing.
And it was fantastic. And I remember when I was done and I had an orgasm, everybody around suddenly got really quiet in the room because suddenly I was done. And I just remember realizing that everybody saw and heard me scream at the top of my lungs.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
Yes.
That is a beautiful memory etched in my brain forever.
It is. It was great. But how did that make you feel knowing that at that moment?
It was good because I was proud of the orgasm I had. It was real, right? If I was faking it, that'd be more embarrassing. But I was like, no, man, I enjoyed myself. I was very turned on. I had an incredible multifaceted. It wasn't just me and these two guys. Miss Shyla Valentine was over here doing all sorts of bukkake stuff. It felt very much just for me, it was almost like an energy orgasm of the room too, being a bit of an exhibitionist for me, getting a little bit of that from my friends who finally get to see me. I know I'm not a prude, I don't suck dick like a prude. I eat ass, Amelia.
You know what? Honestly, it was so hot. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. I think you gave the whole room an orgasm.
What does that mean?
As in, we felt your energy. We just felt your screams, how you were enjoying it.
Yeah.
True. And it felt like, that silence you were talking about right after.
Yeah.
It felt like everybody almost in my mind, it's like everybody took a slight bow to you.
And to Mr.
Hats off.
And because he got compliments after that. Like, I mean, he had, I don't know what that must be like for him to go home and know that he had a crowd of people make someone scream like that. Genuinely, like think about that. What a good thing for him too, to get that kind of recognition, you know?
You're right.
Well, I
I
know
heard
because
men
Chef,
say stuff to him. I heard other men saying like, "Oh wow, that good
Really?
job, that's
Tell us.
amazing." Yeah,
that's
So what
right.
did you hear? Say it again.
like other gentlemen that were standing behind were like, "Good job, good show, like good
Wow.
stamina."
Wow. But did he look happy about that?
Yeah,
That's good.
I think there's a smile in that whole room the whole time.
Yeah.
And then when we weren't smiling, we were laughing, and you were laughing, smiling, screaming, stuff in your mouth. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
I just remember the blowjob was fantastic, and like he was, giving me great reassurance and telling me it felt good. And I'm telling you guys, it was fantastic to get that kind of reassurance. And I just remember when he asked, to take the cum shot and to see Miss Jila Valentine's eager and open mouth, just immediately without any hesitation, take his cum shot. And I was like right there, and I was like, it was fantastic.
So at that exact moment, okay, as I didn't hear your dialogue, but all I saw was he starts jumping down and heads over to Miss Jila Valentine, and I leave, like almost leap forward, it feels like, and I look in, and I'm looking like close, and I'm like, there it is, there it is. I'm watching it, and I see the money shot. It was a nice one, and that was a great fucking way to end the whole thing. Like it was. I was
Really?
like, me with my big emoji, the big grin emoji. That was like me.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, for me, it was fantastic because I didn't let some guy down by not taking his cum shot. I got to give my friend another cum shot that she loves, and he got to, swap with another girl's mouth that he also wanted to play with that night. So fantastic fucking night.
You said this, and that's exactly what you were doing, is you were worshiping his cock.
Yeah.
You were totally in the moment, in the zone. I know, as much as there's like probably 50 people in that room,
Yeah.
who knows, it was DTF night, but those are the words. You were worshiping his cock.
Yeah.
Well, you were wearing that hot red outfit. That's probably the part that the visual is missing, is that you were wearing the red lingerie. And so for me, when I looked over, it stood out as opposed to a naked body.
You're
Yes.
right. I got fucked in that lingerie.
Yep, your boob was hanging out. So we had like one boob hanging out, one boob that was in the thing, and you're like, getting like, vibrating as you're fucking, that was going on from behind from Mr. Jila Valentine. That was
lambs.
Oh, and he's got stamina, and he just keeps going. Even the guy I was with behind me, the friend of mine, said he couldn't believe it.
Really? Wow.
Mr. F was in your mouth, and Jila was behind you, fucking you. Mm. Your lingerie, the way it sits, the lace sits on your ass.
Yeah.
Is like, we're women, we look at this stuff. I don't think men care.
Yeah. Oh.
Just the lace, maybe they do, but just like the way the lace hits the curve of your ass, the way the top holds just like your boobs, it gives amazing cleavage. So that was, like R said, I'm just gonna piggyback on that.
That's fantastic.
Is that that red looked amazing on you.
That's so good, because we had a hard time picking out the outfit, so that's good.
And that's another thing. I wore red. Amber wore red. That was a funny thing too. We're all like in red.
And we all are technically, no, I can't speak for Amber, but me and you are totally open to sharing a man together sometime, right?
Yeah, totally.
We thought maybe last time, but if it's not last time, it'll be the next time. So it's just a matter of the right time, the right purpose. And at one point, didn't you ask if we should start kissing? And I was like, no, like I don't do performative stuff. But then I was even telling my friend Steve later about how I felt bad about that after, because I didn't realize, in a way, I was kind of rejecting my friend, and I didn't mean to. I thought that you were just asking, should we, for the sake of the crowd? And I was like, fuck no.
No, it's okay, right? We're getting to know each other, right?
Right. But we also, in my opinion, need to know how to be more clear about if we are actually trying to be flirty versus procedural.
Right. Because I was touching you at one point. I was caressing your arm, your legs.
Yeah.
And then
for now, I mean, we're getting to know each other, right? So it's like, we don't have to did it right now.
No, totally.
It'll happen. I'm sure of it. Especially with the right gentleman between us, right? Because we'll both be excited about that. So
I was in awe of you as in how much you were enjoying this. And like I said, because I haven't seen you or has,
yeah,
I was like, this is a whole new Toronto unicorn.
it really is. I'm glad you got to see it.
Because we've talked, right? Like we've talked about like what's happening, what are things, right? What's behind the scenes, all this stuff. But talk is also, I
Yeah.
think actions speak louder than words, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I joined this because of you, right? Watching your videos and all this stuff. And I'm like, I see her videos, I see her do stuff. She talks about things, but then I'm like, oh my God, it's like a hallelujah moment. Like I get to see it from my own eyes.
And I'm real. I actually I actually am, interested in dirty, fun sex with the right people. You just haven't seen me thrive with the right partners. And
I never doubted it for a second.
yeah.
I just was very excited that I was able to see it for myself.
Me too, because and that's why I remember when I finished orgasming and my friends made a comment about how loud I was, and I said, and that's how I don't get fucked here a lot, is because my friends don't know how loud I am at sex.
Yep.
Are known, but otherwise, it can shock people with how loud I am, but I've always been that way too. So,
but that's also a sexy moment, I'm gonna say.
I hope so.
For you,
it's not sexy when your parents are upstairs or as somebody who needs to not hear you is nearby. That's not great, but yeah.
I was in a hotel room recently, and they had to put on the TV, and I'm told you all told me that I'm quiet.
Well, look at me. I mean, what am I going to play you loud? Like, look at me.
Yeah.
So compared to me, you're quiet. Yeah.
So, I guess it's like, it depends on the environment.
Well, I saw you squirt and gush a little bit of liquid. It didn't make a lot of sound. I mean, if I wasn't right beside you, I wouldn't have noticed.
It's because I was biting his shoulder. I was like, what is happening?
I know, I told you, I recommended him for a reason. He's like very good with his fingers and like energy. He likes to please women. I was like, it was a good recommendation for you.
Yes, and I appreciate that. I'm glad that you told me how he is, that he's shy. So I took the lead, and he had great energy, good banter. He's like funny. So like, as much as like it was just about sex, it was also like, he's funny. He's cracking jokes. Like,
and he does show up on random DTF nights. That's when I see him. So he's a good person to have in your back pocket too, right? If you want another fantasy fulfilled or something, right? So yeah, I'm glad. I like making matchmaker, with my friends.
And you're good at that, to be honest.
Thanks. Well, because I know that he's shy too, and he's admitted to me in R before, he won't make the first move on a woman. He doesn't want to be that creepy guy. So he's like, I need a girl to basically lead me to it. Like, and so the fact that I knew that with you, I was like very easily being like, so yeah, you're gonna have to make the move, and you were so good at that.
Thank you.
All right, so R, now that we've talked about my kind of dirty fun experience, I want to hear how was the rest of your night? Like, what kind of things did you get up to?
Yeah, after watching you get your fun and having a nice snack time and everything, I ended up with two friends, one female, one male, and I experienced some women on women play, which was, I guess, somewhat novel for me.
Yeah, because you're straight-ish.
Yeah, and more ish, it seems, but I'm expanding my horizons and evolving and trying different things. And so let's just
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can you share what you did, or is it too much for YouTube?
It might be too much for YouTube.
Let's just say I saw her spread her meat curtains for a girl to take exploratory behaviors with.
So you witnessed it. Yes. It was it was interesting because it's
she can't even talk about it. I love it.
On meat curtains. Anyway, yeah, no, it was interesting because she knew her way around the female anatomy very, very quickly, and surprisingly quickly, I must say, to cause a flood of activity in the nether region. So if you can read between the lines, basically, I squirted all over wherever I was. Okay, left a puddle.
And do men normally do that for you?
At the club, very rarely. It happens, but it's rare and it takes a while. I swear she got me in record time. Yeah.
Wow.
And then we did it again later. And so it's also record time.
Wow.
That's hot.
It is hot.
So now I'm like, there might be something to this. So when you say I'm straight-ish, yeah, I mean, I am-ish at this point.
Well, that's why whenever I meet a straight woman lifestyle, I'm like, oh, still? You must be new.
You haven't experienced enough.
Right? I mean, there's
funny.
very few straight women left when you really look at the definition of, no female sexual interaction. Because it doesn't matter, we're all humans. I think that we're all kind of growing into this new cultural understanding of sex and sexual partners and hedonistic lifestyles. And hedonism is more of an identity that I would like to adopt versus like gay, bi, straight, whatever, because it's like, I'm going to pursue something that brings me joy and pleasure. And if that changes over time, then that changes over time.
Totally with you. Totally with you, because if you've seen anyone evolve, you've seen me. I mean, you've known me long enough, and I have gone from like wet behind the ears to where I am now, which, I'm not really gonna
below your feet.
wet below my, among others. Yes, exactly. I'm also wet behind the ears sometimes, but no, it is a constant evolution, and it's a fun place to be. So it's still going. A lot of fun. And later on, I didn't tell you the end of the story. So after all that happened, once we'd all said our goodbyes and everything, we were still there late, me and the gentleman who was doing the spanking. And so later on, we were sitting around and something began, and this girl had a flogger, and we ended up flogging this guy, all 5 of us, with this thing, whack, whack, whack. And he's like, is there a mosquito in the room? Is there... Like, wow, it was unbelievable. Yeah, he's got buns of steel. So we all took a turn. I was backhanding it. I was making my I'm going to get you face. Like, no, he was... Now, I mean, was the flogger leather? Probably not. But still, like, it was... The noise was loud, and it should have hurt by then. I'll tell you, 5 of us were doing this. Yeah. So congratulations on having buns of steel, sir.
And at one point you were in the pool with him and 2 other females. So there was 3 women and 1 man having like a little cuddle hangout. And I was like, that man
yes.
is lucky.
Yes. And that happens a lot for us.
Yeah. It's nice when you make friends in this lifestyle that you can interact with, in different ways like that. So
yeah.
All right. Shall we pass it to Amelia?
Please. I want to hear the rest, because I did not witness it. I was busy. So I only heard little teeny bits. So go for it.
So I think I was more in as much as I was DTF, I was also in a more of a voyeur mood. And since I had front seat to the most beautiful scene of the night, I was like, how can I top this? Like, this is like, etched to my memory. So I was just being social, walking around. And then Tiu had a friend there, TorontoUnicorn, that she was like, okay, this friend is shy, but is interested in playing. And she's like, are you? I'm like, yeah. So then we started like touching each other. I started talking to him, and then he asks me from a squirter. I think actually TorontoUnicorn asked me too. Yeah. And I was like, I'm like, with the right person, I'm like, not normally. Yeah. But I was like, yeah, I have squirted before. So I was like, okay. In my mind, I'm like, yes, okay. Like, I'm in for a treat. Yeah. And so then everything was really busy. There was sex everywhere. So I found this little bench. Tiu sat beside me. She's like, can I sit here? I'm like, yeah, totally. So we're watching a little bit. Like, that room was filled. Like, there's no empty space. Like, even the curved chair, just like all the beds. I think everybody was touching each other. Yeah. And so then I started making out with my guy. We'll call him Mr. T. And then I feel his hand down there, and I'm like, what's this feeling? And then like it's just a freaking spray all over the floor, and I'm like, I think I just even started kissing him, because he was like, I just touched you, and I was like, damn. So it was amazing. It was really good.
He hit your trigger.
Yeah, he totally know what he was doing.
Yeah,
I enjoyed him, so I had a good night. And then I was being social, right? We went into the pool. So it was a good night. It was a good time. And thank you for being a matchmaker, because you knew that he was shy. You knew how I was, right? And then you brought it together, and it was a good time for me.
I even told him in advance, like, she doesn't suck dick, but like, you know, she could take it for a long time. She, you know, probably take your whole dick. Like I was matchmaking behind the scene for him too. Like
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure you were both on board, but you guys were a really good fit that way. And I'm sure you'll have experiences if you run into him again, or at least recommend him to a friend. And
Yeah.
again, you know, people want their Yelp reviews in this lifestyle, what we like to call it. They're, you know, recommendations from a friend. So
I had a great night. Thank you. I am so happy I met you guys. It was amazing.
me too. Talk about like divine, I don't know if it's divine intervention or whatever, but we were all kind of brought together through some
Destiny
circumstances. Yes, destiny
is the word.
for it.
Yeah.
So after, I remember I did fool around with Mr. F a bit more, and then he had sex with me. So it was like I had a really fantastic night. And I remember he let me kind of, you know, suck his D in the way I wanted to, which was pretty aggressive and head upside down and all of that. And at one point he had, you know, I had produced a lot of saliva, like clear saliva, but like I had to like, you know, let it kind of slip out or whatever. And I remember at the time him being like, "Oh, are you okay?" And I was like, "Keep going." Like, I'm like, you know, no, don't whip out on me now, fucker. You know what I'm saying? I'm into sex. I'm into face fucking. I am into it. And so for me, if I get spit that isn't, you know, full of macaroni noodles, it's a win. We're just getting spit.
Gross.
I know. I gross people up sometimes by accident. But no, you know, for me, it was just spit. It was clear spit. But I was like, oh, I'm not weirded out by that. Like, let's keep going. And I think this is the part I remember is when I was finished with the sex and I stood up, you guys were like, "Oh, your face." And I was like, "What?" And, you know, apparently I had a big red face because my head was all, you know, blood, whatever. And my makeup was all down. My mascara was all down here.
It was destroyed. That's what I said to you. I said, "Oh my God, your makeup is destroyed."
Yes. And
Yeah,
I very much wanted to take a photo, but because we cannot take photos at Oasis, and I didn't even want to ask permission to like take one in the bathroom, I just was like, "No, you guys are going to miss out on this one." But it was ugly and a beautiful thing at the same time.
And your face, I've never seen it so red.
Yeah. I was like, your mascara's down to your lips.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, you know what? Let's just clean it at least, right? Let's just make it take it off away where it's not supposed to be.
And it was funny because you came at me with a towel. You're like, "It doesn't have come on it."
I'm like, it's a clean towel. Like you saw, it was folded. We're good friends. We take care of each other.
It's true, right?
Right.
So I want to wrap up this part of the YouTube story before we go into the abstract version on my fan page, but I want to focus on the social night because there was so many of our friends there, including some people that I met from the online platform, including some fans that introduced themselves to me that took a chance on the club after seeing some of my videos. And overall, the social environment last night for me is why I love this club. Like, you guys have to weigh in on this. It was a fantastic, inclusive, joyful. I think I called it feels like summer camp for adults. Like, it's like summer camp. Everyone goes excited and leaves excited. Like, you know what I'm saying? So yeah. So let's go R first and then Amelia about the social.
Oh yeah. So there was a lot of people we knew, and so that was a lot of fun. And that's kind of why we were sitting a little bit apart. I had a different friend group there as well, so I'm trying to divide my time between them. And of course, the bench is only so long, so I was a little bit further back from the action. And it's not the first time I've seen you. So like, you know, I left the front row to the newbies who were like, you know, whose mouths were hanging open, who shall remain nameless.
Thank you.
So, to point you out. Anyway, when she turns to me with her mouth hanging open, no, it was funny. Anyway, no, it was great in the ballroom. We had the food, we had the chit-chatting, we got to know each other better, like the different groups mingled. There were people coming in and out. Yeah, like it replenished everybody. It was, you know, it was like, wow, this is cool. Like,
replenishes our soul too, right? Like, it's not just for food. It was like our soul was fulfilled last night.
Oh yeah, of course. And we shared that. It was like a celebration.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think it was Mr. F or something who said, you know, this is good. Like, he needs replenishment, you know, and I'm not sure if it was him, but it was all a blur, but some gentleman said, this is a great idea.
That man could have sex so many times. His dick did not go down. He at one point asked me if I could take more. I was like, sorry, I tap out after 2. I just do. I just was like, you ladies, I don't know what plumbing you got, but I have.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah. So for me, I was happy to see him then play with Amber. So he had sex with other people all night. The social night, for us to be able to share such a great night with our friends is one thing. To have sex be a part of our night and have it not be weird is my dream come true. This is my whatever I thought Disneyland would have been. This is what Disneyland is to me, when friends can be friends and have joyous fun and people can fuck around them and share sexual partners and it not be jealous and not be weird and make everyone feel better, you know?
I also want to add that we're not cliquey. We're very social.
Yeah.
There's other people in that room. There was people that walking in and out, and we're like, you know what? Help yourself. Like just
until they started helping themselves without their invitation, then we're like, our food
Yeah.
is attacked.
yeah. But I'm just saying, we're not cliquey. We're friendly. We're social. We start talking to everybody. Because we know that feeling. It feels nice.
Yeah.
That's like kind of like our home away from home, right?
Yeah.
And it's a really welcoming feeling. So we want everybody to feel like that.
And we're all responsible for participating in continuing that feeling and making sure it stays welcoming. And I think that's a responsibility I think we all carry once we realize that we benefit from the environment. So we also contribute to that environment. So that's why I also like to do these videos where I can show people what it's like to go and the etiquette and, you know, make sure you don't touch anybody without permission. You know, I did like that one of my fans last night or came up and, you know, before she touched me, she's like, oh, can I hug you? And you know what? Because I even said to her, thank you for asking. Sure. And I gave her a hug. But if she had just hugged me without permission, I would have had a stone face on because I would have been trying hard not to be a bitch. So you really have to be protective of people's boundaries and barriers there. But that's only so good if you know that those things are boundaries and barriers. So this club is important and we need to protect it, but we also need to coach people and give them the chance at success too when they come in. So,
I think that's what you do with your videos, to be honest with you. I think they're very, very educational, honestly. Watching them, this is what people can take away and like understand what it really is.
Yeah.
Right? The
Good, the
consent,
bad,
the boundaries, the friendships, the sex, everything.
Yeah. And also the non-sex. Like I have a lot of times where I go to this club and participate in this lifestyle as a voyeur, as somebody who helps my friends hook up. But like for me, this was a big night to have not only good sex, but a fantasy fulfilled. It had been a year since I had that experience, actually a year. So I don't know what I've awakened now. I'm about to find out when I go visit my vibrator and relive. But until then, I'm going to pivot now. We're going to transition into the After Dark version, which is going on my fan page. This is where we can, you know, swear and tell a little bit more of the juicier details that you might have missed from the YouTube version. So I hope you come there. I want to thank R and Amelia for being part of this and for participating their perspectives.